Preface of The Sleeping Beauty and Other Fairy Tales from the Old French. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Sleeping Beauty and Other Fairy Tales from the Old French by Arthur Quiller-Couch. Preface. Once upon a time, I found myself halting between two projects, both magnificent. For the first, indeed, which was to discover, digest, and edit all the fairy tales in the world, I was equipped neither with learning, nor with command of languages, nor with leisure, nor with length of years. It is a task for many men, clubbing their lifetimes together. But the second would have cost me quite a respectable amount of toil, for it was to translate and annotate the whole collection of stories in the Cabinet du Fay. Now, the Cabinet du Fay, in the copy on my shelves, extends to 41 volumes, printed, as their title pages tell, at Geneva between the years 1785 and 1789, and published in Paris by Monsieur Couchet, Rue et Hôtel Serpente. The dates may set us moralizing, while the Rue Serpente unfolded as though Tranquilla Peralta, its playful voluminous coils, the throne of France with the ancien regime rocked closer and closer to catastrophe. In 1789 July, just as Monsieur Couchet, good man and leisurable to the end, wound up his series with the last volume of the Suite de Mille et Une Nuits, they toppled over with the fall of the Bastille. Even so, in England, we may remind ourselves, in 1653, when the gods made Oliver Cromwell Protector, Isaac Walton chose to publish a book about little fishes. But the reminder is not quite apposite, for angling, the contemplative man's recreation, was no favourite or characteristic or symbolical pursuit of the order which Cromwell overthrew, and, besides, he did not overthrow it. Whereas Monsieur Couchet's 41 volumes most pertinently as well as amply illustrated some real qualities, and those the most amiable of the ancien regime. When we think of the French upper classes from the days of Louis XIV to the Revolution, we associate them with a certain elegance, a taste fastidious and polite, if artificial, in the arts of living and the furniture of life, and in this we do them justice. But, if I mistake not, we seldom credit them with a quality which more than any other struck the contemporary foreign observer who visited France with a candid mind. I mean their good temper. We allow the Bastille or the guillotine to cast their shadows backward over this period, or we see it distorted in the glare of Burke's rhetoric, or of Carlyle's lurid and fuliginous history. But if we go to an eye-witness, Arthur Young, who simply reported what he saw, having no rhetorical axe to grind or guillotine to sharpen, we get a totally different impression. The last of Young's travels in France, 1787 to 1789, actually coincided with the close of Monsieur Couchet's pleasant enterprise in publishing, and I do not think it fanciful to suppose that, had this very practical Englishman found time to read at large in the Cabinet du Fay, he would have discovered therein much to corroborate the evidence, steadily and unconsciously borne by his own journals, that the urbanity of life among the French upper classes was genuine, reflecting a real and, for a whole society, a remarkable sunniness of disposition. Unconscious of their doom, the little victims played, but they did play, and they fell victims, not to their own passions, but to a form of government economically rotten. Of all the volumes in the Cabinet, possibly the most famous are the first and second, containing the fairy tales of Charles Perrault and Madame d'Aulnoy, and volumes 7 to 11, containing Monsieur Galland's version, so much better than any translation, of the Arabian Nights. I hope that one of those days Mr. Dulac will lay the public under debt by illustrating all these, and the stories of Anthony Hamilton to boot. Meanwhile, here are 3 of the most famous tales from Perrault's wallet, and one, The Evergreen Beauty and the Beast, by an almost forgotten authoress, Madame de Villeneuve. The ghost of Charles Perrault, could it walk to-day, peruke and all, might well sigh over the vanity of human pretensions, for Monsieur Perrault was a person of importance in his lifetime, 1628 to 1703, and a bigwig in every sense of the term. Colbert
Sample complete. Ready to continue?